everybody. Today we are talking about The Paper Palace by Miranda Cowley Heller. I picked up The Paper Palace a couple of months ago and knew I wanted to read it during the summertime based on the cover looking like it was a lake kind of area. I thought, oh, this will probably be a good summer book. I was wrong. Okay, not completely wrong, but I thought it was going to be a little bit more cheery in nature. This is what I get for not reading the, summaries of books or the synopsis or like the little things on the back. I don't want to spoil myself, and then I end up reading something that I don't know what it's going to be about, and sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's like, oh, I should have just read so I would have known what I was getting myself into. But a couple things I want to say, because I don't even want to do too much of a review on this today, not a long one anyway, because there's some traumatic, triggering things that could be in this book, and I don't really want to talk about it because of that. If there are certain things that you find really hard to read, then I'll put down the examples in this book here. But if this is something that you don't want to read about, then automatically I'm telling you to not read this book, okay? Because those things are pretty important to the plot. This book wouldn't really have a point if this wasn't in the book, meaning that it is such a important part of the main character's life that if this didn't happen, then the chain of events that happened afterwards wouldn't have happened. And so the book would have been entirely different if this hadn't happened in it. So that's, basically what I wanted to tell you about. But without talking more about those things in depth, I can tell you a little bit more about what happens. So the main character's name is Elle. She lives every summer she goes to this like cabin that they call the Paper Palace, and it's been in her family for many, many years, and so she has grown very fond of this place. It is where she met her really good friend Jonas. In the very first chapter, we find out that Jonas and Elle sleep together for the first time, even though they've known each other for most of their lives. And it's something that they both have wanted for a long time, but then their lives went different directions. They both got married to different people, and so yes, this means that they are cheating on their spouses when they do this. And as you go throughout the rest of the story, you discover why this happened and what led to this, why they weren't together in the first place, why they married other people when they knew each other when they were so young, why didn't they end up together, all these things. And then eventually, by the time you get to the beginning of the book, to the end of the book, you're back in nowadays. So it basically goes back to when she's a kid, and it tells you bits and pieces of her life, and then you get flashbacks from, flash forwards to today time, and then it kind of goes back, and then it kind of stays for a while where it just kind of goes in order all the way up until we get back to present day, and that's where the story ends, is in present day, and we find out the aftermath of what happened in the first chapter. Basically, there's not too much left of the book once you get back to present day, so it's not like halfway through the book you're like back to present day and there's a bunch of stuff that happens. It's more like one chapter-ish worth of stuff, maybe 2 chapters of present day at the end of the book. So most of the story relies on the things that happened in their past, mostly in Elle's past. So if you are wondering whether or not you should read this, basically what I said at the beginning about the possible triggering or traumatic things that are mentioned in this book, if those things do bother you and you don't want to read about those things, then don't pick this book up. If you feel like you are comfortable reading about those things because you know that this is a fictional story, then go ahead and pick it up. There are several moments where it's mentioned briefly, but it never goes into like super detailed things or anything like that. So yeah, it could be a lot more detailed and a lot worse in terms of those things than it was. I don't want to take away from the author by telling you, you know, don't read this book because these things are in it. But I just want you to be aware that they're in it, so that if that is a problem for you, that you don't want to read it, then don't read it, right? I'm sorry I didn't really do the best job at reviewing this book because I just personally don't want to talk about a lot of it on camera. And so maybe this review wasn't super helpful for you. So I apologize about that if that's the case. But anyways, thank you for watching if you did watch. And if you want to read the book, yeah, go ahead and pick it up and read it and see how your feelings are about it, what you think about it. It has a lot of good reviews on the back of it. It is from Reese's book club, and I tend to read a lot of stuff from her book club because there's a lot of stuff I like that she likes as well. And so yeah, so it has a lot of good things in it as well. So if you'd like to pick it up, go for it. And yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.